Welcome to Bible by the Fire in DAYZ, where we study the Bible by a fire in DAYZ. This channel is out of control. We play survival games during the week, but Sunday we set aside for this Bible study. Today is a good one. We got some scriptures we're going to read and look at, but before we do, we want to tell a story as we usually do in these devotionals. Today's story to open is an interesting one. It's about Mario from the original Mario Brothers on Nintendo Entertainment System. So to send this video out, this Bible study out farther into the algorithm where someone could hear it and it could really help them in their lives and on into eternity, help me out by putting something in the comments. Type castle in the comments. Put an emote of a castle or a video game controller, or hit NES exclamation point if you're an 80s kid who grew up on Nintendo. But you remember that original Mario Brothers with that rectangular controller. It had A, B, up, down, left, right, select, start, and that is it. It was super uncomfortable in your hand, but it was special. It was amazing. That was the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Back when video games had consequences. When you ran out of lives and continues, you start over at World 1-1. You can't respawn over and over again. Or your mom calls you to dinner and you're halfway through the game and you can't pause it long enough. You have to start over. Remember those days? Well, Mario, the original one, you're trying to rescue Princess Peach, and you battle through the worlds 1-1, 1-2, all the way up to the castle, Bowser's castle, and then you battle the Bowser, you defeat the Bowser, and then what happens? Toad comes out and says, "Thank you, Mario, but the princess is no longer in this castle." You did all that and you're in the wrong castle. Not only are you in the wrong castle, you are in the wrong world. So you do this 7 more times, battling through 7 more worlds, and you're sweaty and your adrenaline is pumping because you know you only have so many lives, and castle after castle you find out the castle is empty until you finally get to the 8th world and the 8th castle where you rescue Princess Peach. Why do I tell you this story? Well, a few points can be made and we'll bring out some Bible principles. Number 1, some things are empty. You can conquer the wrong castle. You can win the wrong fight. You can win that argument with your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife, and it be the wrong fight altogether. You can climb the corporate ladder only to find out that ladder is leaning against the wrong wall and you didn't want to be there. Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes, I almost said Song of Solomon, the book of Ecclesiastes, the richest, most powerful man ever to walk the earth. He had whatever he wanted at the snap of his fingers. He achieved everything. He built amazing cities. He did incredible feats in his life. And yet in the end, he said it was all empty. Everything I thought would satisfy did not satisfy. Sorry, Solomon. The castle is empty. It's the wrong castle. But you know what? Here's the good news. God will use even your misguided steps. He'll use it to grow you and bring you where you are supposed to be. There's that Rascal Flatts song, "God bless the broken road that led me straight to you," where he finds the woman of his dreams, but it was the broken road that led him there. And you may have a broken road. You may have battled some wrong worlds, cleared some wrong castles, but it's all a part of the process. Mario had to do that to find the 8th and final one. And that's sort of how life goes. God will take even our missteps, our mistakes, even the things that we pursued that left us empty to guide us to the right place. Romans 8:28 says, "And God will work all things together for good to those who love him and are called according to his purpose." I think back to the miraculous catch of fish that Jesus brought the disciples. Remember in Luke 5, when early in the ministry of Jesus, he called out to them. They said, "We haven't caught anything." He said, "Try the other side." And they hauled in such a catch that the boats were sinking, the nets were ripping. It was chaos, and the fish were slipping through the nets, and yet they got a large haul. And then they walked with Jesus for 3 years, the miracles, the ministry, the teaching they'd heard. And in John chapter 21, something amazing happened. After the resurrection of Jesus, he was crucified. He rose from the dead. The disciples didn't know what to do, so they went fishing because they didn't know what else to do with their lives. They didn't know what was going to happen. And so they're waiting and hoping to meet Jesus again after the resurrection. They're fishing. And Jesus from the shore yells, "Have you caught anything?" And in John 21, they didn't recognize him from the shore. They said, "No, we've been out all night, didn't catch anything." He said, "Throw your nets on the other side." Just like 3 years ago, this time they threw the nets on the other side, and they hauled in a great haul. However, this time, the boats were not sinking, and the nets were not ripping. In other words, after 3 years, they were stronger. They knew how to handle the blessings. They knew how to take in all the blessings of God. Nothing was slipping through the nets. Nothing was slipping through their fingertips. And you may have spent some time in your life clearing the wrong castles, climbing the wrong ladders, fighting the wrong fights, coming up empty. But all that to say, when the right time comes, you will be ready. And when life circles back around, because God works in circles, it's not one and done. He will bring you back to that place of failure, that broken relationship, that regret that you have, and this time your nets will hold and your boats won't sink. So point 1 in the book of Mario, some things are empty, but God will use even the empty things. Point 2, perseverance pays off. Keep going until you get it right. Wrong castle 1, wrong castle 2, wrong castle 6, wrong castle 7. Just keep going. The right castle was castle number 8. Yeah, sometimes you hit some things that were empty so that you can find the one that's for you. Wrong castle, so what? Made some mistakes, so what? Now you know where not to go. Now you know what not to do. Now you are wiser, now you are stronger. I think of Jonah running the wrong way, going the opposite direction God had called him to. God said, go to Nineveh, and he ran to Tarshish, which was the end of the earth. It was the farthest you could go. It was a point looking out into the abyss, and he wanted to spend his life in the abyss, but God wouldn't let him just waste his life away. And God sent that large fish, spewed him up on the shore, and as you know, he got it right. Sometimes you get it wrong a few times before you get it right. And God won't give up on you, so I want to encourage you not to give up on yourself. You came up empty, so what? You swung and missed, so what? Wrong castle, so what? Climbed the wrong ladder, so what? Today's the day you say, God, all those things are in my past. Take them, use them. Help me be stronger, help me be wiser, and get me on the path you want me to be on. And third point in the book of Mario here today, and I say that jokingly, please don't get offended. If you get offended, you need to relax a little bit. Life's too fun to be offended at stuff like that. The end will be glorious if you don't give up. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no human mind can even comprehend the glorious things that God has in store for those who love him. The end is glorious. Mario finally did rescue that Princess Peach. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 says, and don't get tired of doing good. You will reap the harvest if you don't give up. So good things are in the future. The end is glorious. We all swing and miss sometimes. We all enter the wrong castle sometimes. We all deviate from the plan, get off the path. But the good thing is we can get back on the path, and God will weave it all together for good by his sovereignty, through his power, through the miraculous. You'll have a season of life where everything's slipping through your fingertips. The nets are breaking. The boats are sinking. It's chaos. And then 3 years later, like the disciples, the nets held just fine. The boats, just fine. Because they'd spent that time walking with Jesus, their faith growing. Those nets, those boats were a picture of their heart, their soul, their life, their strength. And the same is true for us. Keep walking. Stay persistent. It pays off. Stay in the game. You'll get the right castle. Don't give up. The end is glorious. Hey, make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you found this really good, interesting, unique, post it on your social media. That really helps send it out. And these messages, I'm going to focus more and more on the ministry side of the channel. We do have fun things throughout the week, and it's kind of a nice hook, but this right here is what I'm really passionate about. So post it in your social media, send it out, and until next time, keep carrying the fire.